Dit is Smaakmakers. Mijn naam is Segert van der Linden. Leuk dat je luistert. Here we go. For once and for all. Turkse pizza. It's not Turkse pizza.
No, it's lahmacun, guys.
Goed dat je weer luistert naar een nieuwe Smaakmakers. Vandaag is het weer eens tijd voor een culinair tripje, want ik ga op reis naar Turkije. Dat is het geboorteland van Hale Amus Vermeulen. Zij woont sinds een aantal jaar in Nederland en is sindsdien hier een fervent promotor van de Turkse keuken. Dat doet ze op Instagram onder de naam Turkish Tale en nu ook met een boek. De Bijbel van de Turkse Keuken is weer een lijvig boekwerk zoals je van de landenbijbels gewend bent. Hij staat vol met authentieke Turkse gerechten. Dus verwacht geen Turkse pizza. Hoewel, daar gaan we het wel even over hebben vandaag. Dat doen we in het Engels trouwens, want dat gaat Halen een stuk beter af dan in het Nederlands. Dus ga er maar eens even goed voor zitten. Dompel je onder in de Turkse keuken. We beginnen met een klassieke vraag. Het is tijd voor een culinaire herinnering.
For me, I think it's one of the ones that I had. It was in the book too. That I remember because I spent all my summers in at my grandparents' summer house. It was in the Aegean region, and so the produces were there so fresh. So my grandmother would often buy vegetables in big bulk, and then she would prepare them to store for the winter. So one of the things I remember was just like unshelling kilos of the borlotti beans. It's called kivitsbonen in Netherlands.
Ja.
So that's one of the things I remember, just like a pile of on a table, and I think just 10 kilos, 15 kilos or something, even like maybe more. And that would be followed with tomatoes. And she would keep the peels of them, and then she would press them on a sieve to make tomato juice for us. Mm-hmm. And that was just like the biggest reward for me. So I think when I just think about my childhood and food, it just like surrounds with my grandmother and my mom always and helping them in the kitchen. So I think that's one of the biggest ones I remember.
Yeah, they taught you how to cook.
Yeah, and actually Turkish moms are a bit... they have that thing, you know, like, oh, I'll do it myself. You know, you stay on the side, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's really good too, because I just sit down and watched and absorbed everything I could see. So both my mom and my grandmother would just be in the kitchen, and I would just like follow them around and just like help them and do the, you know, the unshelling and peeling and stuff.
Yeah,
but
the simple chores, the little chores.
But I think it was like much more rewarding to be right there and to watch them do things, because I think I just, like I said, I absorbed everything in my memory, and now I'm just happy to use it.
Yeah. Did food play a big part in your childhood?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, because my father is Palestinian, so he comes from a very big family. He has 9 brothers and sisters in total. So they were a very big family, and at mealtimes they were all together. So it all like 12 people on the table.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he did have that tradition of having the family together during the mealtimes, and that's the same in Turkish cuisine too. So Middle Eastern and Turkish cuisine are so similar. So we do have that, the food bringing everyone together during the mealtimes. So we would have the weekend breakfasts, and every dinner time we would sit around the table. And of course, there are like special occasions like the Eid and New Year's. So it always was around food.
Yeah.
And as much as I remember, it's just like surrounded by
There was always
food.
food. There was always food somewhere, yeah. That's something I hear a lot in these kind of podcasts, that food brings the people together.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not just we have to eat because we want to stay alive. No, food is important. What kind of dishes were there on the table?
Our meals take so long, and that's one of the things that is very different, I think, because we take things, we don't just eat and finish, because in the Dutch cuisine, you know, like it's a much more different. You just eat your meal and you end the meal. But in our cuisine, it's much more like that's the time where you reconnect with your family. You talk about your day, and you see your dad and your mom and everything. So you share stuff. And so we just have, most of the time we start our meals with soup. Mm-hmm. And then that's followed with either an olive oil based dishes we have. It's like vegan or vegetarian dishes. And it can be some meze on the side, and then main dish with some rice or bread. And then it's followed sometimes with a dessert or fruit. So that's like a whole entire meal, yeah.
Yeah. That takes quite a while.
Yes.
Let's unpack it a little bit from there.
Yeah.
Let's take that meal and let's unpack it a bit, and then I think that can tell us a bit about the Turkish cuisine.
Yes.
So you always start with soup.
Yes.
What kind of soups?
It's more hearty soups. We have a lot of red lentil-based soups, but it can be any vegetable soup or made with chicken soup. We always use broth that is homemade.
Yeah.
So we either use chicken, bone broth, or beef broth. And yeah, I would say probably lentil and yogurt-based soups are most often eaten.
Yogurt is playing a big part in Turkish cuisine.
Yes.
It's really important.
Yeah.
In what ways is yogurt used?
Everything. I think we just make everything from it. We have a dessert from it. We make soup from it, which is, I think, very, very unusual for a lot of people to have a yogurt-based soup because it's cold, and then so that's not very usual. We have everything. Mezes are based from there, and then we have it with every side of the dish.
Yeah, and it's not just like in Netherlands we eat yogurt as some kind of dessert.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you use it in a dish just to finish the dish.
Yeah.
But there are complete dishes based on yogurt, like the yogurt soup you mentioned. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a staple, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
Because that's what they had in their hands from when you look at back in the history. Milk is one of the first products that they could get their hands on from their farms and everything. So they just literally created everything from milk-based products, and yogurt is one of them. Yeah. And I'm actually grateful for that because I do think yogurt sometimes really does complement a dish when you're eating it correctly. But I think it's one of the best things that Turkish cuisine has when it regards, and we have a drink from it too, ayran. And that's one of the best things that ever happened, I think, to yogurt too, in my opinion. It's really good.
It's really good. So yogurt is a staple. The soups are a staple. There's always bread with a meal. And then we know Turks brood. We know from the Turkse bakker. I'm going to throw in some Dutch phrases every now and again. It's always that bread that we know, the big round breads we tear apart.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is. It is. So that's the bread that's always served with the soups or the...
No, actually. We have another Turkish bread. So the one that is called here is Turks brood, but actually it's... In Turkish, it's called Ramazan pidesi, which I translated to Ramadan broad, because it's traditionally sold during Ramadan time in Turkey. So, of course, some bakeries do sell it whole over the year, but most of the time it's the most eaten during Ramadan. So that's how you break your fast with that bread, and that's how you eat it during sahur, which is before you start your fast. So I was very shocked when I moved here, and I saw like Turks broad everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And it was like in packages, and it didn't look anything like I had, and I think I even had one that tasted like a brioche, so I was very confused. And so we eat it during Ramadan, and then we eat it with everything. Yeah. And me and my mom would just like sneak in and just eat it with butter because it's so hot and fresh from the bakery. And then the butter would just like melt in it.
Mocht je nog meer smaakmakers willen, dan kan dat. Check petjeaf.com/smaakmakerspodcast. Daar vind je namelijk de exclusieve bonuspodcast van Smaakmakers. En ik heb ook een aflevering met Hale opgenomen. Die staat nu online voor donateurs. Al voor €3 per maand steun je Smaakmakers en krijg je dus met enige regelmaat een bonusaflevering van Smaakmakers. En de aflevering met Hale is weer een goeie. We concluderen namelijk dat we het beste antwoord ooit gegeven hebben. Ben je benieuwd? Ja? Check dan vooral petjeaf.com/smaakmakerspodcast. And there's another type of bread.
Yes.
It's not just the big round bread.
Yes. It's just, we call it ekmek. It's just like bread. And it's a bit similar to the French baguette, I would say, but it's more fluffier and thicker. So it has like pointy ends. So you can actually find it in Turkish markets here in the Netherlands as well. That's our staple bread. Yeah. And of course we have rice. And bread plays a very important place in our cuisine, and I think it's I don't know how to describe it, but bread has a very more I would not say like religious, but it has like a very important place in our culture as well. It's very
it's more than just food.
Because I think I'm not sure about where is the part that's the religious part that is coming to, but it has a very like you can't throw a bread to the trash can. It's it's not. Is it
almost sacred?
Yes, sacred.
Is
that was the word I was looking for. Yes.
Good. Yeah. So
Yes.
what you described feels like it's something sacred.
Yes,
You don't just
bread is
throw
very
it
sacred.
away.
Yes, we don't throw away bread. We just reuse it in the kitchen and make something else for it. Like you can use it to make breadcrumbs from it or something. So we don't throw away bread, and that's one of the reasons I love our culture too. That it constantly reuses the ingredients in our kitchen.
Yeah.
So
is it also because it's a lot of cuisines from around the world? They started the good things start with the how can I say it? The poor people. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, from the scrapes and everything.
Yeah.
Same.
And you're going to use everything
Exactly.
because it's worth something.
Yeah.
You don't throw something away.
Same. Like there is no waste in my grandmother's kitchen. Like no, there is no way.
No.
And if you don't finish your plate, that's going to be a problem. But in her kitchen, I remember her just like doing recreating a soup or just making some things, and even from the bread she would make another dish with like a bread stew. Mm-hmm. But there was absolutely no waste in her kitchen.
No.
Nothing.
No. Let's learn from that.
Yes.
No problem.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's do that. Then you mentioned on the table meze.
Yes.
That's something special.
Yes. Mezes are just the best thing.
I sometimes hear it described like tapas.
It is kind of similar.
Because I think but I think that's because it's small bites.
Small, yeah.
They're small bites, actually. Yeah.
It's the same. I mean, maybe we do serve a bit larger than the tapas, but the idea is the same. So you just have like many little dishes on the table, and then you have a company is called rakı, which is our alcoholic drink. Mm-hmm. And so you just enjoy it so slow. And it does remind like the Spanish things, you know, how they take it easy and slow too. So we do have that too.
Yeah.
And so meze is just a culture on its own in our cuisine. It's just indispensable with rakı together and just the best thing that could ever happen.
There are a lot of good things about Turkish cuisine.
Yes.
And meze is, I think, something I can really get on board with.
Yes. I don't want to be, because, you know, it's of course my cuisine, but I do really think that Turkish cuisine has a lot to offer. And I do feel like it's not represented good enough. And like we have unlimited mezes and everything. And it's just like sad, you know, there's just like not enough resource out there to show it to. So I think this is a good start, you know, with the meze culture and everything. And I hope like people will be interested in it and just create their own meze tables. So
yeah, well, I think I'll do that. Create a meze table. Are there some components that are essential for a meze table? For a
meze table, we do start definitely with galemelun, and we have the Turkish white cheese, which is similar a bit to feta, but it's more fatty. And so those are the main essentials. You start with the melon and the cheese. So you have always, of course, a glass of rakı next to you. And then one of the famous ones is called haydari, which is made with strained yogurt, regular yogurt, some dried mint and dill, and with a bit of garlic. So that's a very nice slider too. So it helps you, you know, with the alcoholic drink while you're eating the other spicy, peppery, and garlicky things. And yeah, acılı ezme is called, it's, and in the book it's called pitike tomaten dip. It's made mainly with tomatoes, and it's finely chopped with tomatoes, peppers, and garlic and onions. So it's very nice. You can also eat it with the kebab stew. Nice. So those are, I would say, like the basic, followed with roasted aubergine dip. So those three are, I think, like the most staple. The
most basic.
Yes. Yeah. The ones that you can see.
And you can elaborate on that.
Oh, definitely.
You can all out, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think I recommend doing that. Yeah. Go all out.
Yes.
Go all out. You mentioned a little bit briefly, you say Turkish cuisine isn't always represented really well.
Yes.
Before I pressed record, I said, I'm going to mention Turkse pizza.
Yes.
So here we go. For once and for all, Turkse pizza. It's not Turkse pizza.
No, it's lahmacun, guys.
And what is lahmacun?
Lahmacun is a flat bread, I would call it, topped with ground meat and spices and tomatoes and peppers. So it's all of like a finely chopped. And we don't use knoflook sauce. No.
That was a bit of a revelation for me the first time I heard that.
I know. It's we don't have knoflook sauce in our cuisine.
No.
And that was a bit of a shock, starting with my husband too. Like, no knoflook sauce. And he even joked about bringing in his own knoflook sauce whenever he was traveling to Turkey. And so, yeah, we don't have knoflook sauce. And we just eat with basic toppings, the lahmacun. So we have sumac onion salad. So we put that on, some parsley. Even though it's not very, very recommended a lot because some people think that the onions are enough, but you can put some shredded lettuce and some tomatoes if you want to, and that's it.
That's it.
Yes, and here there's like shredded carrots, cucumbers, and
cheese, lots of cheese.
No.
I have to say I quite enjoy them, but I know it's not the original one.
It's not. I mean, you can do it. I do think that you can do anything you want behind closed doors in your own home.
That's,
but
I think, yeah.
Selling it and marketing it as a Turkish food is just very wrong to me.
That's the problem here. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I've talked about it before podcast about cultural appropriation.
Yes,
it's called, of course. And then I think what would you do at home? I mean, when I cook pasta for my children, I don't usually cook a traditional Italian pasta.
Exactly. I mean, I can't cook al dente too because my kid doesn't eat it. I mean, I have to overcook it for him.
Yeah, and that's for you. That's the people you cook for. But when you sell it and you market it like something, well,
authentic.
Authentic in this exception in this example, Turkish.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I do understand where people are coming from because they do want to adapt it to the country that they're living in and to make it accessible for everyone. Yeah. But I think it's now, and we're in the 21st century, people are more open. They're traveling a lot, even like grandparents of, people are even like into traveling and new cultures and new cuisines. So I think it's time to take things slow and, be more original and authentic now. So I don't think anyone is going to dislike, unless they can eat it, of course, but sumac onion salad in their lahmacun and without having a sauce, because that's our thing. And that's a lot of people are having hard to understand that we don't have a lot of sauces and condiments in our cuisine because we use very good ingredients and we have really good cooking techniques. So you don't need extra toppings or sauces or anything because it is good as it is.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people will start to have more confidence in their cuisine more and they can sell it and show it to the world as it is, because I think that's what you need, if you can't travel to the country, I'm going to try the food and I would like to have it as authentic as it is.
We sometimes think that people are afraid to taste something that they don't completely know.
That is understandable.
Or that's a bit foreign to them. And so we make something that they can understand.
Yeah.
Like lahmacun with cheese and all kinds of toppings and knoflook sauce.
Yeah, I understand that. Like I said, I sell food for a living too. So I wouldn't mind if they bought because I don't do any adaptations to my dishes. I sell it as the way I learned it from my mom and my grandma. And I don't care if you add something into it in your own home. That's how I gave it to you. And maybe you didn't like it as it is. So of course you can do whatever you want, but I'm not going to sell it just to adapt it to your palate. So that's all on you, whatever you want to do at home.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think people should take more risk regarding. I know it's not. I don't know how to describe it.
Take a little bit more risk, but don't make too big of a big deal out of it. Because you try something and you like it, and in the worst case scenario, you don't like it.
Yeah,
and that happens, and that's okay. You don't have to like everything.
Exactly.
And that's okay. But
so you can give the option at least. Yeah.
At least try.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just hope that now, even if you don't make your lahmacun at home, you can just order it from a store or whatever. And then you can just make the topping yourself. There's like an onion salad and don't put the knoflook sauce and try it. Just have a bite. And if it fits you, like you can eat it like that. Or if not, just get your carrot and your cucumber. But
make something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think... I don't know. You can't blame the people who live here too, because that's, like you said, you saw it like that. So I don't blame Dutch people, for not putting anything different on their Turkse pizza, lahmacun. But yeah, I think there is a problem there, like the adaptation and everything, and I understand too, like you have to make money. So you have to make it easily accessible and close to their palate and everything. But like I said, we're in 21st century and people are more now open to different tastes and authentic recipes. And like my husband's grandmother is like 97 years old and she loves my food and not even once she added anything to it. So I think it is a bit time to change things.
Yeah. Okay. That part aside. We've covered that part. Then, so you had the mezze table, and then the dinner progresses. What's next on the table?
Yes, from main dish, it depends like what my mom was in the mood, and what we do use seasonal products in our table. So most of the time, either my mom would use what she frees during summer, so either that or she would just like use seasonal products. It can be a vegetable and meat-based dish, or just a meat dish with some rice or bread on the side, some salad. So it would just like depend. And she would cook both Turkish and Palestinian cuisine. So it was just like a feast for me and my sister. So
I'd love to eat there. Yeah, me too. So you mentioned meat. Is it a meat-based cuisine?
I would say it's actually, we have so many vegan and vegetarian dishes, which is very new information for a lot of people, because we do have in the Asian region, it is a very heavily vegetable based region. So actually, I would say, 70 to 30 maybe, or 60 to 40. But yes, we do have meat heavily dishes, but it's easily adaptable to vegetarian. And we do have a heavily vegetable based dishes as well, because we do have a lot of wild herbs and vegetables that goes, and it's much more accessible for a lot of people. Yeah. So we do have vegetable-based dishes a lot too.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, it's a cuisine that started with the common people.
Exactly.
Meat's expensive.
Yeah.
So
I do remember, like, my grandmother would just be on the highway, and then she would make my grandfather to stop the car, and then she would just like go to a field and just like pick some stuff, and then she would like, dinner is ready, and then just like, oh, okay. Yeah, so it was just like the dream. So I just just love that part.
Noemen we dat nu. Foraging. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. You can get nominated for Cookbook of the Year with that kind of approach.
Yeah.
Your grandmother missed out. And then is it a cuisine with like entree, main, dessert? Is there always something sweet after the
That
meal?
depends on my mom would not make so often, but she would sometimes serve to my father, because we were kids, some type of dessert with Turkish coffee after the dinner. And sometimes she would have like a pudding or something, like we have a rice pudding, she would have that. Or not baklava kind of types, because those were reserved for special occasions. Yeah. So
a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
She I think never did baklava. I think my grandmother did, but I think I never saw my mom making actually baklava. But so the syrupy kind of desserts would be for special occasions, but for the regular weeknights, she would just make like a pudding or something. But it was not always necessary, but we could just like finish it up with some fruit as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have a bit of a sweet tooth when it comes to dinner and
the coffee. You just served me coffee, and I was like, "Ooh, do I need to? Can I finish it?"
It's not Turkish coffee.
Because there's always a little bit of the coffee grounds.
Yes, that's where you like put it on the coffee plate, and then you flip it. So you look at your fortune.
That's that originates there.
So you put it on the on top of the cup, and then you like flip it, so it sits down a bit, so it cools down, and then all the grains that comes onto the bottom, they create some pattern, and then you read whatever you can see from there.
Oh, nice! You can do that.
I used to do some for fun and what I would see, but my mom is just like amazing at this.
Oh yes. Oh wow! I want to meet your mom.
She's gonna be here next month.
I get the feeling that I want to meet your mom. I want to eat her food.
Oh yes.
Nice. If I want to go and try and cook more Turkish food at home, well, first step, buy your book. Yeah. That's first step. Link in the description, of course. But then, what do I need? What kind of ingredients? What kind of staple ingredients do I need?
That's a very good question. One of is tomato paste, of course. Like you're gonna see it in almost every other recipe, because tomato paste is just a staple in our kitchen. Yeah. And then that's followed with pepper paste. Both of them can be found, I think, in Albert Heijn too, and on supermarkets and Turkish markets as well. Yeah. Those two are the main ones. And then that I would say would followed with I think, Turkish bread if you don't want to make your own, which you can find again in the Turkish markets, but not Turks brood.
Not Turkse brood?
Yeah.
No, the real deal? Yeah.
Yes, the real deal, ekmek. And I think those three are the main ones. And then that's followed with dried mint. I think we use it a lot in some salads and soups and stews as well.
Not always fresh.
We use it fresh for some salads, but we mostly use it dried because, again, like I said, we make it in the summertime when everything, and then we dry it to use it for in the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we use dried mint a lot and pul biber a lot too, which you can find again in the Turkish markets and I think in supermarkets as well. Yeah.
as well.
So I think those are the main ones that are easily accessible, and then that's followed with the grains, which is bulgur. Again, it can be found in every market. So yeah, I think on this case, it's going to be very nice and easy, accessible.
It's really accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are some couple of ones that you might need to go to a bigger Turkish market or like order them online. But other than that, I think it's going to be very accessible.
That's also, we're living in the 21st century. Yeah. You can order everything online if you want to. And I guess that part I didn't check, but I guess there are some links to helpful stores.
Yes.
Book? I guess so. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. That's always good. One thing I'm always curious about cuisine is it evolving? Turkish cuisine?
Definitely.
Yeah? In what way?
Definitely. Because now, again, time is changing. So there is so much that you can use from the old recipes and everything. And then we do love preserving our recipes in that case. But now that you have to, like the time is changing, you have to keep on track and follow the trend. Mm-hmm. But I do love that we do recreate our dishes now. So we use old recipes and we recreate them to make it more like in a modern way. So,
for example,
we do have one restaurant in Istanbul that won 2 Michelin stars, and I can't wait to go and just taste his food. And he's Chef Fatih, and I just saw that he uses like very old recipes or very traditional recipes, but he just recreates them in his own like modern way, and not very fusion actually, but still he follows the exact recipes, but he just recreates them in his own way. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that you can do with Turkish cuisine. So it's technically it's a simple cuisine, but you can create it and turn it into a very modern cuisine.
Yeah.
So as long as they don't make like sushi from lahmacun or something, I'm good. But yeah, I like the rules.
That happens?
No, but they do.
Oh, okay.
I saw now with the chee köfte, we have it's like in Netherlands it's called rauwe köfte. It's made from bulgurs. Mm-hmm. So I think you saw it too everywhere. It's called there's a brand even here like called chee köfte. Mm-hmm. They're like little bulgur bowls.
Yeah,
I would say, I don't know.
Yeah, like balletjes.
Kind of like you have like the fingerprints.
Oh yeah.
So they sell it here in the Netherlands as well, and they just like spread it and then they just roll it on the flatbread, and then they like slice it into like kind of like sushi.
Wow.
Slices, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look for that in the supermarket and then point and laugh.
So that's the only thing that I saw. But other than that, I think Turkish cuisine is trying to make a big leap now. And now I think a lot of Turkish chefs are realizing that there is a big gap that needs to be filled with Turkish cuisine, because not just in the Netherlands, but around the world, that there is a different perspective of how people see Turkish cuisine.
Yeah.
And because when you go to Germany, there's again like doner kebab there too. And so when you go to America, it's the same. So I think now the chefs are doing their best to recreate our old recipes and making like a little modern twist.
Yeah, and maybe present a bit of a bigger picture of the Turkish cuisine. Because kebabs, I know, I love. Yeah. But there's more. There's much more.
Definitely.
You told me more than 230 recipes in the book. Yeah. Much more.
Yeah,
where that came from.
I mean, I love kebabs too, and
yeah, it's great.
It's nice, but
you want something. You might want something different.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that they're going to go to Turkey and they're going to starve because there's just nothing but kebabs. But actually, like the vegetarian and vegan options are like endless as well. And so I do really hope that now with this book, people can say like, oh, okay, like there's like great salads and great like vegetarian dishes and like vegan dishes and everything that can try and go crazy for, because I mean, kebabs are nice. You can go and eat it at the store and at a restaurant. But having vegetable-based dishes is good for the entire family as well too, like with your kid and with your,
for you
everyone,
too. I mean, for everyone.
Exactly.
Everyone needs the greens.
Exactly. So I think it's a nice way to learn about a cuisine and to see from another side too that hey, there's vegetables and nice desserts and this and that.
Yeah.
So I do really hope that this will guide them at least. It doesn't have to be anything, but just like guiding, and they can just recreate their own recipes as well too.
Dit is Smaakmakers. Mijn naam is Segert van der Linden en je hoorde mijn gesprek met Hale Amus Vermeulen. De Bijbel van de Turkse Keuken ligt vanaf 28 oktober in de winkel. Bestellen kan al via de link in de show notes. En voor de liefhebbers, er staat dus ook een bonusaflevering van de podcast met Hale klaar. Luisteren kan op petjeaf.com/smaakmakerspodcast. Hij is wel speciaal voor donateurs, maar doneren kan al vanaf €3 per maand. En daarmee steun je Smaakmakers en krijg je dus die bonuspodcast. petjeaf.com/smaakmakerspodcast dus. Over 2 weken is er weer een nieuwe Smaakmakers. Dan is het tijd voor het tweede deel van Smaakmakers en Suzanne. Mijn 2-maandelijkse onderrondje met Suzanne Arets. Voor nu, bedankt voor het luisteren en tot de volgende Smaakmakers.